Ukraine peace deal. Asmongold is discussing Ukraine's peace deal. Oh wow. Now this is an educational video. If there ever was one, huh? Asmongold talking about Ukraine. Oh my god, I cannot wait. This is gonna be so amazing. Whoa. Asmongold. Whoa.
Stay tuned. Apparently there might actually be a peace deal with Ukraine. I'm kind of...
What? Are you kidding me? What the fuck is this? Asmongold, as always, on top of things. Yeah, there might be a peace deal with Ukraine. It's already done.
shocked to even hear this. But
you know, there is concern from the Europeans.
Sure, I believe it. Yeah, especially after Alaska. We're going to watch this 2 times speed because no way we're going to watch this normally.
President Zelensky is going to be bullied into signing something away. That's why these European leaders coming as backup tomorrow.
Beat him up.
Can you
No, that's not why they're coming as back. That's not true. No, but that's not why that's not true. They're not coming here tomorrow to keep Zelensky from being bullied.
Also, bullied does not mean...
I love how she starts it off like, yeah, all the European leaders are coming to protect Zelensky from Trump beating him up. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, bully does not mean literally beaten up, you idiot. God. When you say someone is being bullied into something, it doesn't mean you can smell the video. True. When you say that someone's being bullied into something, it doesn't mean that he's being beaten up. It means that he's being pressured into something. Jesus Christ Almighty! How can Asmongold be so stupid?
They're coming here tomorrow. In front of television cameras, where President Zelensky.
Do you know how many meetings we've had since then?
Oh no, I know, and I was just up in Alaska.
You don't know. You don't know. You have no idea because you're a literal news broadcaster, and he's the Secretary of State. No, you don't know.
The one with Vladimir.
Yeah, because Trump's cabinet has proven to be so competent so far. Yeah, people from the Trump cabinet has totally not done incompetent things. Like, Witkoff totally did not, like an idiot, misunderstand what Russia told them about what they're willing to do and not willing to do. Not to mention that guy that just stopped aid to Ukraine. And Trump was like, wait, there's no stopped aid to Ukraine. And then the guy was like, well, I thought I was acting in Trump's best interest. I thought I was doing America first. Like Marco Rubio, Jesus Christ, please stop commenting on politics, Asmongold.
Putin, where red carpet rolls rolled out.
No, but with Zelensky, we've had more meetings. We've had 1 meeting with Putin and like a dozen meetings with Zelensky.
So no shit. Wow. What
please, I beg, stop commenting on politics. You have no idea what you're talking about. And this guy has 463,000 views. And no, the media never called. This is so Jesus Christ. Brain dead creator, brain dead audience.
A surprise.
But that's not true. They're not coming here tomorrow.
Why is the news telling him the news? That's a great question. That is an incredible question. Why is the news telling the Secretary of State the news? What is journalists?
They're not. They're questioning on things. That is what journalists are supposed to do. Press people on things.
Think they're politicians instead of reporters? Because for the last 15 years they have been.
No, they haven't been. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. No, reporters have not been politicians. Just because a politician has the guts to actually pressure a politician on something, it doesn't mean that they're being politicians. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
From being bullied. They're coming here tomorrow because we've been working with the Europeans. We talked to them last week.
Of course, I'm gonna hear some really brain. Oh, this is just a transplant, a direct transplant of the brain dead. Oh, game journalists are shit. Into journalists in general are shit. And fake news and bad and they smell and they're trying to be politicians. They have been. For the last 15 years, they have been trying to be politicians. And that's bad. That's bad, you guys. Oh my god. Oh, why is this happening? Why does this guy have to be the biggest political commentator on Twitch? Why? For the love of God, why? Why do we have to suffer his brain dead opinions? Those pink-haired CBS News journalists drinking Labubu matcha latte while watching Skibidi Toilet. True. Sake.
We're meetings in the
Like he thinks that he can just transplant the talking points about gaming journalists to politics.
Over the previous weekend.
Wow. And they said President Trump was going to demand a ceasefire.
As early as Thursday. But you said that they're coming here tomorrow to keep Zelensky from being bullied. They're not coming here tomorrow. Oh, this is such a stupid media narrative that they're coming here tomorrow.
No, it's not actually. We've seen what happened at the White House. We've seen that Trump has been putting much more pressure on Ukraine than on Russia. We've seen that Trump has said that Zelensky didn't need approval of the parliament to start the war, to get into the war and kill everyone, but suddenly needs it for lamb swap. Yeah, Europe should be the force that will not allow Trump to just pressure Zelensky, instead of pressuring who he should be pressuring, Russia and Putin. This is so stupid. And of course, Asmongold, being the savvy political pundit, will clap like a seal to Marco Rubio's idiocy.
Bro,
this journalist is so silly.
I love him. He just says it. Yeah, it's stupid. It is. It's stupid.
No, it's not. If you know anything on the subject, you know it's not stupid. Trump, from the beginning of his term, has been pressuring Ukraine, pressuring Zelensky, and putting zero pressure on Russia. It's completely reasonable to say that the leaders of Europe are coming to make sure that Trump does not once again just pressure Zelensky. It's a completely reasonable thing to say if you have any knowledge of what has been going on in this subject.
Total fucking bullshit.
And now I'm expecting Asmongold to just explain why it's total bullshit, beyond just saying, oh, they're gonna keep Trump from beating up Zelensky.
Her posture is so aggressive. Keep in mind that
Of course he's not. Of course he's not gonna explain why this is bullshit. Because he doesn't know. He just goes, journalist bad, politician good. That's it. That's the level of analysis that we're dealing with here. It's brain dead. And stupid. And smelly.
that this is the same news broadcaster who said that one of the reasons why Nazi Germany came to power was because of freedom of speech.
Yeah, I want citation on that. I once said that I do not believe for a second that this is a journalist that said anything of the sort. I do not believe that for a second. I'm gonna need a citation on that. Yeah, I so believe that a journalist said that Nazi Germany came to power because of freedom of speech. I so believe that. That is totally what happened, for sure. For sure, for real, that is totally what happened. I believe it with the entirety of my soul, for real.
I'm not kidding you. She even said it in an interview with Marco Rubio.
Uh-huh.
She's a retard.
Takes one to know one, I guess.
Because Trump is going to bully Zelensky into a bad deal. We've been working with these people for weeks.
Yeah,
for
an
weeks on this
aggressive
stuff.
Karen, I know.
They're coming here tomorrow because they chose to come here tomorrow. We invited
Look
them.
it up. Yes, I made a clip of it. Yeah, we talked about it when it happened.
To come.
Yeah.
We invited them to come. The president invited them to come.
But the president told those European leaders last week that he wanted a ceasefire. The president went on television, said he would walk out of the meeting if Vladimir Putin didn't agree with one. He said there
Well, he failed. He didn't get anything done. What else is new? Trump is an incompetent deal maker. The art of the failed deal.
would be severe consequences if he didn't agree to one. He said he'd walk out.
Well, there won't be any severe consequences. Again, what else is new with Trump?
In 2 minutes. He spent 3 hours talking to Vladimir Putin, and he did not get one.
Whoops. Oh, bad journalist. Oh, wow. How aggressive. Well, the truth stings. He wanted a ceasefire. He said he would get it the same day. He didn't get it. Whoop-de-doo.
There's some
Because
mixed
obviously
messages.
things happened during that meeting. Well, because obviously things look.
Yeah, things happened, Things happen as they happen. That is part of the art of the deal. Not getting anything that you set out to do.
Wow, what a surprise that this binary thing that Trump said isn't actually as simple as he said it was. Why is she arguing?
Yeah, what a surprise that the incompetent president that said that he would end the war before taking office in 24 hours, in 100 days, in 2 weeks, ceasefire, in 50 days, no, actually 10 days. He's incompetent. He is just incompetent. He's not a good negotiator.
Because, again, the media is your enemy.
No, the media is not your enemy. You're an idiot. The media is your enemy. What a brain dead thing to say. The media is your enemy.
She's arguing with the, like, wasn't Marco Rubio there in the room? Like, he knows what it is. Yeah, it's her job, literally. Well, it's...
Yeah, it is her job to challenge politicians, yes. It is a journalist's job to ask challenging questions, yes. He would never talk to me. He would never in a million years talk to me. He has 3.92 million subscribers. My subscriber count is 1,000. Like what? What is my subscriber count right now? I'm gonna tell you. He would never talk to me about anything. He would not even have a casual conversation about video games with me. Hold on. 1,419, yeah. Good luck with that. I'm too small for him to even be on his radar. I mean, fuck subs, true, you can say that, but that is not how content creators see these things. There's no benefit for him to be talking to me, literally.
It's not really like, I mean, she's not approaching this from any sort of a perspective of, oh, well, you know, I'm just trying to understand this better. No, I don't think so at all.
Yeah, because what do you mean from the perspective of trying? Do you know what a journalist's job is? It's to uncover how things are. And it's not by being nice to the people that you're talking to always, okay? That's not how you arrive at the truth of the matter. Oh, I'm just trying to understand your perspective, Mr. Rubio. True.
Oh, it's very obvious. Whenever she's prepositioning the European leaders that are coming to the White House to protect Zelensky from Trump bullying Zelensky into giving Ukraine to Russia, like, this is not journalism, okay? It's proper.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because the journalists have done their homework and they have seen what Trump's attitude towards Zelensky has been so far. You're just the person that does not do his homework and you do political commentary without knowing anything about what you're talking about. You have no clue what you're talking about and you do political commentary anyway. And it's really annoying because you're one of the biggest political commentators.
Propaganda. What are we doing here?
Yeah, it's propaganda. What are you doing here? It's so easy to throw out there such easy slogans, brain rot slogans that people will just eat up. The media's your enemy. The media's bad, you know. The media's bad, you guys. It's propaganda to say that the European countries will come to the meeting to stop Trump from pressuring Zelensky. You know, the thing that Trump has been doing from day one in his office. Literally. The only thing that Trump has been doing with Zelensky is to pressure him. And zero pressure on Russia. Because Putin is a friend. Putin is a good and smart guy. Vladimir, stop. What a joke.
You're making it complicated. She's arguing because she's a woman. Finally, somebody says it.
Here is not to stage some production for the world to say, oh, how dramatic, he walked out. Our goal here is to have a peace agreement, to end this war, okay?
Yeah, I can see it's going really well. The United States is doing a great job at getting a peace deal.
We felt, and I agreed, that there was enough progress, not a lot of progress, but enough progress made.
What a pathetic statement. I've been hearing that for half a year. There's progress, there's great progress, there's amazing progress. Things are going so well. We've almost got a deal, we've almost got a ceasefire.
In those talks to allow us to move to the next phase. If not, we wouldn't be having Zelensky flying all the way over here. We wouldn't be having all the Europeans coming all the way over here.
Yeah, of course. It's going so well. Everything's going so well. So amazingly well. It's totally not a complete disaster. Putin's totally not playing Trump like a fiddle. Totally not. I assure you, it's not happening.
Understand and take with a grain of salt. I'm not saying we're on the verge of a peace deal, but I am saying that we saw movement, enough movement to justify.
We saw movement.
A follow-up meeting with Zelensky and the
Wow, what a logical, normal position that any reasonable person could have assumed came out of the meeting.
If you're an idiot, if you have not been following this whole process from Trump's day one in office till now, only if you have no clue about the subject would you say that this is a reasonable and good thing to come out of. If you have no clue what you're talking about, if you have not been following the steps from the beginning of the year to now, then maybe you could say that it's a reasonable. We've been hearing this for half a year. There's this movement. There's been progress. Things are going so well. We're on the verge.
Yeah, duh. Fucking obviously.
Enough movement for us to dedicate even more time to this. You talk about the sanctions. Look, at the end of the day, if peace is not going to be...
The only thing that has been accomplished in Alaska is that Russia's diplomatic isolation has been broken. Russia has only gained from this, and nobody else.
Possible here, and this is just going to continue on as a war. People will continue to die by the thousands. The president has that option to then come in and impose new sanctions. But if he did this now, the moment the president puts those additional sanctions, that's the end of the talks. You've basically locked in at least another year.
Yeah. So they don't want to do that because if they do that, then you don't want to play that card because...
you don't want to put any pressure on Russia because if you'd be putting any pressure on Russia, that would actually be bad. If you actually, do the thing that you threaten to do, that would actually be bad. But Ukraine's fair game. For Ukraine, you can pressure, you can take away support, you can take away any sort of military support, you can take away intel like that, because, that's great. No, I don't know. Wasn't his mama conservative or something?
after you've played the card, you can't use it as leverage anymore. So if you can use that card as leverage to get what you want, then it's better to do that.
Yeah, the problem with that logic is if you just threaten to use the card and never use it, then it's meaningless. It's worth shit. Your leverage is worth shit if people know that you will just threaten to do it and never do it, okay? If you just keep your card and say, Vladimir, if in 10 days we won't have ceasefire, I will use this card. 10 day passes, no card. Then you know what? The card is meaningless, even if you have not used it yet. What a joke.
Then play it and then have to deal with the fallout. I mean, this is common sense.
Yeah, if you bluff and bluff and bluff and bluff and let's see and never do anything, surely the bluff will work for the 50th time, right? Bluff only works if the other party doesn't think you're bluffing. Exactly.
Anybody knows this. I mean, this isn't some art of the deal, master fucking like wizard, galactic brain, 5-dimensional chess.
This is your brain on political commentary. This is your brain on political commentary.
It's just like anybody that plays Magic the Gathering knows this. You play Pokemon, you know this.
Yeah, please stick. Please, for the love of God, please stick to Magic the Gathering. Please stick to Pokemon. That's more up your ante. I just stick to those things. Please, don't discuss politics. I beg you.
Holy shit.
A year and a half of war and death
Please.
and destruction. We may unfortunately wind up there, but we don't want to wind up there. We want to wind up with a peace deal that ends this war so Ukraine can go on with the rest of their lives and rebuild their country and be assured that this is never going to happen again. That's the goal here. We're going to do everything possible.
Of course. I mean, that's obviously good. And, okay, but what do you do when they actually follow through? Trump threatens everyone with tariffs and sanctions and follows through right away. He's now told Russia 3 times that they have a deadline. They missed it. So when does he actually do it? I don't know. I mean, the odds are...
I don't know. Brilliant political commentary. Hey, Trump has warned Russia 3 times and never did anything. So when is he actually going to do anything? I don't know.
And this is the same thing that happened with Iran. Like,
no, you idiot. It's not even close with what happened with Iran. You're going to compare Russia to Iran. Are you saying that next thing what's going to happen is Trump's going to roll in with a bomber into Russia?
What I think will probably happen will either be that they will come to a resolution or there will be an Iran situation. Now, what does that...
Oh my God. Yeah, we're totally going to have an Iran situation. Yeah, the United States is going to directly attack a nuclear power. Yep. Yeah. The United States is just gonna send bombers directly into Russia, just like in Iran. It's gonna be exactly the same because there is absolutely no difference between a nuclear and a non-nuclear country. Absolutely none. Brilliant analysis.
That look like? Are we going to bomb Moscow?
Asmongold is totally not an idiot. Totally not. It's gonna be exactly like Iran. Fuck me. Yeah. The US is gonna bomb Moscow.
The chances of that are basically 0. It's not going to happen. But what I do think is going to happen is that we might empower Ukraine to do something that is, like offensive against Russia. I think that
is not even remotely like Iran, the Iran situation. Not even remotely. Okay, Dylan Burns' grandfather who raised him was a Vietnam vet, okay? And yet, Dylan Burns' positions on Ukraine are not insane, somehow.
possible. And they have nukes. Yeah, sure, right? But I think that's possible that it could happen.
Yeah, sure, they have nukes, and, they could launch a nuclear Armageddon, but I think it could happen. This is the political analysis of Mr. Asmongold right there.
Delaying Russia for decades. Yeah, or they could use those tariffs. But you're right. Obviously, and also the reason why is that Trump can negotiate more strongly with those other countries based off of those countries' position. So and this is like, again, this is not a comfortable reality, but it is a reality, is that Trump can bully around a small country like...
Oh, now you're talking about bullying. What, Trump can beat up smaller countries?
Like, I don't know, Pakistan, but he can't bully around a big country like Russia. Like, Russia is a much larger country. They have a much more involved military, etc. Or even...
Yeah, I'm sorry. If Russia did not have nukes, then Russia's size would not matter. The United States would absolutely crush Russia when it comes to conventional warfare, and it's not even close. Are you kidding me? If Russia was not a nuclear power, then it would not matter just how much the military of Russia is involved. At its current state, the United States would simply crush Russia like a grape when it comes to conventional warfare. It would not be even close.
Even Iran, he can.
If Russia is struggling so much in Ukraine, you've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me.
bully Iran around all he wants. But again, if it's a big enough country, it's harder to do.
No, it's not about size. Are you stupid? Big enough country? Iran is a big country. Did you know? Iran is not a small country. You're an idiot. Iran is actually a very big country. How big is Iran? How big is Iran? Iran ranks 17th globally in both geographic size and population. Iran is the number 17 globally in both geographic size and population. How can you call it a small country? How can you? Oh, God.
It's harder for him to do that with China and with Russia. They have nukes? Yeah, exactly.
Well, to make that happen, if it's doable, it will require both sides to make concessions. It will require both sides to get things they're asking for. That's how these deals are made, whether we like it or not.
He's totally right. He is. And it looks like...
Yeah, he's totally right. Let's just suck the cock of Marco Rubio.
I'm glad that he's calling.
Just forget about the fact that in 6 months, the United States under Trump did not manage to achieve anything with Putin. Anything. In these 6 months, the United States have achieved nothing. Zero. Nada.
I mean, this is a great thing. So, and this is even Zelensky.
Amazing.
He's even talking about it. It looks like things are changing. You've got it right here. He's meeting with all the different people. And
oh, wow. Zelensky meeting with different people? Wow. This has totally not been happening for the last 3 years.
oh, here we go.
Vladimir Putin made. Can you name?
Oh, I was going to watch this.
Can you name
Or
any
even 4 at this point.
concessions that Vladimir Putin made during this meeting?
Why the fuck would why the fuck would he say this publicly? Are you kidding me? Oh my God, this is nuts. Just reveal the plan. Just tell us what's going to happen.
They've been talking about the concessions of Ukraine very publicly. Why is it okay to be talking about Ukraine's concessions publicly, but not Russia's? Why is it okay for Trump to just say openly, yeah, we're not going to allow Ukraine to get into NATO. We're not going to give back Crimea. We're not going to give Ukraine this. We're not going to give Ukraine that. But to talk about any of Russia's concessions is so nonsensical. It's so bad. Brilliant. Art of the deal. Asmongold is such a brilliant political commentator. I swear to God, such a brilliant mind. Please, for the love of God, please stop talking about this topic.
have any
I wouldn't name them on your
concessions?
program.
Have any concessions
you.
been
On your
asked?
program. Why would I do that?
Where is the
Oh, of
pressure?
course, because you can't have a peace agreement. No, you can't have a peace agreement unless both sides give and get. You can't have a peace agreement.
Yeah, and let's just talk about what one side can give, without talking about what the other side can give. That is a brilliant strategy. The answer is Russia does not want to give anything.
Both sides make concessions. That's a fact. That's true in virtually any negotiation. If not, it's just called surrender, and neither side is going to surrender.
Well, I'm not even going to comment on that.
True.
So both sides are going to have
True.
concessions. So of course concessions were asked. But
Fuck
what
me.
utility would there be of me going on a program and tell you we've wagged our finger at Putin and told him you must do this and you must do that? It's
I mean, that is what has been happening till now, no? When Trump would go on public media space and say, you better give me a ceasefire or I will unleash secondary sanctions. Remember that? Remember that finger wagging?
it's only going to make it harder and less likely that they're going to agree to these.
Exactly. And now I think this reveals what the media's true intent is.
Yeah, the evil of the media, the evils of the media. Yeah, if media is your enemy, let's not forget.
The media is an agitator. The media's goal is to
No, it's not. You're an idiot. You truly are an idiot.
agitate tensions and to create problems in the world.
Yes, that is the media's goal. You're truly...
For them to report on it. So basically, they plan.
My God, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Oh, God, this guy is 3.92 million subscribers. Yes, there's a secret plan for the media to just agitate things and then report on it. in an endless loop. The world events, world politics are just being puppeteered by the media.
The seeds of discontent, of like dishonesty or whatever, they want to ruin it for Trump. Exactly, because think about the
because the media has the power to ruin it for Trump, for real, for sure.
Content that they're going to get if this peace deal breaks down and then the war continues.
Yeah, if this peace breaks down and if Trump gets nothing done, surely it will be the fault of the media. And Russia offers just some law in their constitution about not attacking other countries again. Russia put in its constitution that the land that they conquered in Ukraine is now Russia, so...
Now you've got more people watching the news. So this is what I said before about how all these news companies are profit first, news second. So it is in their best...
Yeah, because Asmongold is 1,000,000,000% news first, profit second. Yeah, such a philanthropist, business billionaire playboy. Brilliant. What a kind-hearted gentleman.
Wars to continue. Don't ever let a news company tell you that they don't love mass shootings or that they don't love terrorist attacks.
Yes, as the guy that said that they will put on a funny outfit to go and see people being deported. What a joke.
They don't love wars. There is nobody that benefits more from wars, terrorist attacks, and mass shootings than media companies do.
Yeah, I mean, we're watching negative IQ, but plus 10 gamer skill, that type of analysis. Come on. Yeah, true.
That's it. That's the reason.
Yeah, of course. It's all the media.
Things. So these negotiations, as much as everyone would love it to be a live pay-per-view event, these discussions only work best when they are conducted privately.
And this is why they crashed out on Zelensky. It's because he tried to do it publicly.
Yeah, that is the only reason why they crashed out on Zelensky, because he was the evil idiot that tried to ask about any sort of security guarantees. Yeah, of course. That is such brilliant analysis. Yeah. Oh my God. Because the United States has managed to achieve so much for Ukraine.
Serious negotiations in which people who have to go back and respond to constituencies.
Same with natural disasters, true.
Even totalitarian governments have constituencies they have to respond to.
Somebody says YouTube creators benefit a lot from it, probably more. You're right. And as a creator myself, it's like if there was a mass shooting or a nuclear bomb went off,
fuck me,
it would make my viewership go up and I would make more money. That's true. This is a reality. And
wow, I'm so smart. I am such a smart content creator. If I covered things, people would watch it and I would make money.
Yeah, anything bad that happens, like if you think about like when was the last time somebody's viewership went up a lot? Well, probably the last time they got, something crazy happened.
People have to go back.
Oh, wow, that is profound.
And defend these agreements that they make, and and figure out a way to explain them to people. So we need to create space for concessions to be made. But of course, concessions were asked.
Yeah, obviously, fucking duh. Like 100%, that's what happens.
Yeah, but I'm talking about so-called guarantees that Russia offers. Yeah, the useless guarantees, the meaningless guarantees.
That's the one I'm going to watch.
If at some point it becomes clear that both sides are so far apart and so dug in that we're just not near a peace deal, then the president will have a decision to make about how much more.
Wow, it took 6 months of President Trump's office inhabiting to figure that one out.
Time do we invest in it, and what actions does he take then? But I want everyone to understand, if this morning the president woke up and said, I'm putting these terrible, strong sanctions on Russia, that's fine. It may make people feel good for a couple hours, but here's what you're basically saying. You're saying talks are over. For the foreseeable future, for the next year or year and a half, there's no more talks, because there's no one else in the world.
Yeah, if the talks go nowhere, then maybe you should just go to something else. Endless talks do not get anything done, okay? If you're not competent enough to get anything done with the talks, then maybe you should just step away from the talks and actually give Ukraine enough support to push Russia out.
In the world that can talk to him. Okay, Putin's not going to meet with Macron. He's not going to meet with the UK. With all due respect to these leaders, none of these leaders are going to be able to bring him to the table and talk to them. There's only one leader in the world that has any chance of bringing these two sides together. If there is a chance,
yeah, of course.
There's only one leader in the world that can do it, and that's President Trump. And you forfeit that role the minute you put additional sanctions on him. We may get to that point, unfortunately.
Yeah, we should just stop the sanctions, right?
But if we do, it means that peace talks are no longer possible, and that would be very unfortunate.
Yeah, duh.
Because the real world ramifications are that while we're here calling each other names and doing TV interviews about this
fuck me
stuff and all that in American politics,
people are dying.
There are people who today will be injured and killed in the battlefield and in cities.
I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, because people are totally not dying, and people are not getting injured, and cities are not being bombed while these impotent talks are happening. and nothing gets done. Yeah, people are totally not dying while that is happening. Bravo. How many rounds of negotiations have we had when Russia just ignored or refused any sort of ceasefire and then agreed to a partial ceasefire and then broke it? How many times has that happened?
I've actually been really impressed by Marco Rubio.
Yeah, because you're an idiot. It is very easy to impress you. All you have to do is to take some keys and jingle them in front of you. And you go, oh, Marco Rubio is my hero. He's so impressive. I'm so impressed with Marco Rubio.
Like, I didn't know he had it in him. But, like, this dude is a guy
Fuck me.
that you want in your corner.
Yeah, totally. He totally is.
Like, yeah, bro, like...
Especially as Ukraine.
Little Marco's come a long way.
No, he's not.
He's amazing? Yeah, I think he's great.
No, he's not.
In Ukraine, on the front lines, and even in Russia. Even as we speak, people that have nothing to do
Even in Russia.
with this war are suffering as a result of it. And I think we are very fortunate and blessed and should be thankful to have a president that has made peace and the achievement of peace a priority of his administration. We've seen it.
Yeah, we've seen that for the last 6 months. Actually, if memory serves, Trump says, maybe if this conversation in Alaska won't go well, maybe I'll just walk away and say good luck.
Cambodia and Thailand. We've seen it in India, Pakistan. We've seen it in Rwanda and the DRC. And we're going to continue to pursue any opportunities we can find to bring about peace in the world.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Iran, the war that started under Trump.
All about the Cambodia, Thailand thing. I did. And it was them trying to if I remember right, it was them trying to, like, fucking retake some...
Please stop. Please stop.
A temple for Shiva or some fucking shit like that. I think that was it. And there was a big issue over this. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. That was a weekend. Yeah, I totally forgot about that little situation, right? And Ukraine's
shit.
constitution. What is this here? Ukraine's constitution.
Successful in Donetsk region. Putin has been
Okay, this is English. Let's listen to what he said.
Oh, horrible Zelensky. Horrible shithead Zelensky and his shitty constitution. I wonder what sort of analysis are we going to hear from this.
Russia is still unsuccessful in Donetsk region. Putin has been unable to take it for 12 years.
Damn.
And the constitution of Ukraine
I guess this is from Crimea.
It's impossible to give up territory or trade land. Since the territorial issue is so important, it should be discussed only by the leaders of Ukraine and Russia at the trilateral Ukraine, United States, Russia. So far, Russia gives no sign that trilateral will happen. And
True. That is true.
if Russia refuses, then new sanctions must follow.
Yeah, Ukraine's constitution forbids giving up land. Zelensky says any territorial talks must involve Russia, Ukraine, and the U.S. together. No back-channel deals, no handover. If Putin refuses, Zelensky wants the West to tighten the screws. More sanctions, more isolation.
Yeah, that should happen. But of course...
Yeah, in my opinion, I think that they're going to have to give up land. Zelensky firmly rejected handing over any Ukrainian territory, saying it's impossible under the constitution. I really hate to say this, but I don't think that Putin or Trump give a fuck about the Ukrainian constitution.
Yeah, I know that Trump does not give a fuck about Ukraine. What else is new?
They don't.
What else is new?
And again, like, invaders hate him. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, he doesn't have... I don't think they really have the cards for this either. I mean, I'll have to disagree. Yeah, do you really... you think Putin cares about the Ukraine constitution? Like, what are we talking about? Putin doesn't even care about Ukraine. You think he cares about the Constitution? Yeah, it's crazy. And so, no, he changed...
Yeah, and the United States at one point supposedly cared about Ukraine, but not anymore, not under Trump.
Constitution 4 times since 2014. Well, I don't know. Ukraine doesn't give a fuck about Ukrainian Constitution. Well, I don't know about that. I have no idea. But Zelensky will not fly to Trump alone. And then, yeah, there's a bunch of other people that are coming. I mean, this really isn't that big of a surprise. And, yeah, this is pretty much the way things are going. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. But in my opinion, I think the outcome for this is what my opinion is. The outcome is that Ukraine will end up giving up territory. I think this is where things are going to go. I could be wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. I don't think that should happen.
Is he brain damaged? No comment. I plead the fifth.
I think that will be the outcome. The media plays
Well, so they are okay with giving up the occupied territory. Yeah, they are.
up the fact Trump sends for Putin. Is that perhaps not fine negotiation? I think that's just the media trying to do media things. I don't think...
Yeah, media's your enemy. Don't forget. Never forget that media's your enemy. And media's just a bunch of agitators trying... Why doesn't... wait, why not what?
Anything that you can base that off of. You can't really go and be like, oh, wow, I can't believe this. They're just saying whatever the fuck they want. Do you think Ukraine should give up land? Should is a nice idea, and it can be discussed all over Reddit. But when you have cities being destroyed, people being killed, and billions of dollars being poured into a war that effectively...
Yeah, because people are totally not being killed when occupied under Russia. That does not happen at all, you know? People are totally not being killed in occupied territory. Nuh-uh.
is just killing people. Shoulds go away. Do you want my opinion? Should Ukraine give the land away? No. I think Russia's totally in the wrong. They're completely in the wrong. But that doesn't matter. They can be wrong as much as they want, but if they have the power to enforce it, then they're right.
Yeah, Russia is apparently more powerful than the United States of America, is what I'm hearing.
Now is Secretary of State and National Security
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
Advisor Marco Rubio. Secretary Rubio, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Sadly, might makes right.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it seems that Russia is just mightier than the United States, and the United States has no power, no cards, no leverage whatsoever to force Russia to give back the territory, is what I'm hearing. Yeah, USA is just a small being. Russia is just so powerful, you know. Of course, the United States of America has no bargaining power. There's no way the United States could ever force Russia to give up anything. Of course not. What a joke.
Thank you for being here. So heading into this meeting with
You can see how happy he is. He's so happy. Oh, good.
There's nothing to be happy about.
President Putin on Friday, President Trump said he wanted a ceasefire agreement. Now he is saying he wants a broader peace deal. We know that Ukraine, we know that European allies want a ceasefire first. Is a ceasefire now off the table, Mr. Secretary?
No, he's not going to say it's off the table.
No, it's not off the table.
Wow, what a surprise. I can never imagine that. What a shock.
And yet, Russia literally said that a ceasefire is off the table until peace is reached. So what Marco Rubio says is meaningless. If Putin and Russia said that ceasefire is in fact off the table until a peace agreement. That is actually what Russia said. So, you know, what Marco Rubio says is actually pretty meaningless in the face of what the leader of Russia says. But what do I know? What do I know, right?
That he's not going to make a definitive statement when negotiations are already, duh.
Yeah, Russia already did. Let's look it up. I'm pretty sure Russia said it. Russia says no fire until peace. Oh, Volodymyr Zelensky said that Russia is to let me know. Oh, the first is the Russians against. We just weren't ready to this. And they said no ceasefire. We want to go straight to permanent peace talks. That is what was said on during the summit. No ceasefire. We go straight to peace talks. But, you know, negotiations are still ongoing, so Rubio cannot say anything, even if Russia already said it. What kind of an idiot are you?
Fucking obviously.
I think what the president said, in fact, you just read it on the air a moment ago.
Neville Chamberlain had a peace agreement as well. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, piece of our time, right?
But that has nothing to do with it. Again, my opinion on this, I've said it yesterday, I'll say it again. I don't want to go over it 50 times. My opinion is that this decision should be made by the Ukrainian government and the Ukrainian...
I don't even know if Asmongold knows who Chamberlain was, though.
People. If they choose to keep fighting, I, as an American, would support having my tax dollars go towards helping Ukraine defend itself against Russia. I think that it's unfair, and I would be okay spending my money to help defend Ukraine against what I consider to be an invading, oppressive, imperialistic force, which is Russia.
Well, I guess we can agree on that. There you go. Something that I can agree on with Mr. Asmongold.
But if the Ukrainian people have had too many deaths, too much pain, too much suffering, and they would rather just give up the land and move on.
Yeah, because millions of Ukrainian people that live on that given up land surely will not suffer, right? There will be no suffering for the Ukrainian people that are on that land, Mr. Asmongold.
I think that it is absolutely preposterous for anyone, especially in the United States, that has no skin in the game. You have no consequences.
Yeah, the Ukrainian people totally do not give a fuck about the millions of people, the displacement, internal and abroad, the very real crackdown on people in the lands that are occupied, you know, the kidnapping of children that is happening there as well.
Your actions, whenever you're saying this, to tell them that they should continue dying to fight Russia.
Yeah. Yeah.
It should be their support, one way or another. Why are we funding another country's war? Because it is geographically beneficial for the United States.
Because Budapest Memorandum, for one. I don't think if anybody from Asmongold's audience has ever even heard about the Budapest Memorandum, but I was saying that was a little bit of an event that happened in history, and it led to some things. It led to some agreements that ostensibly should be respected in some way.
United States to limit Russia expanding its territory and continuing to invade Western forces in Western countries. And the concern is that after Russia already did this once with Crimea, what happens when you have 2 points on a graph? You make a line. So now it's happened twice. That's the problem.
Yeah, because Asmongold has never heard of Chechnya, Georgia. Oh.
Really? Like, I mean, that's it.
How did Transnistria become a thing?
Why do you believe...
That's up to Ukraine to decide. That's why we have a fucking president as representative of our will.
I don't believe Putin wants to stop the war in Ukraine, that he cares for people in Ukraine. I think that Putin does want to stop the war.
Yeah, on his terms, and then build up and attack again.
I think that he privately does. I think the war has... I think it's negative. I think it made Russia look weak, if you want me to be honest. I think that a lot of people going into the war in Ukraine expected Russia to roll over Ukraine in 3 days. That didn't happen.
I didn't.
And obviously it didn't happen because American and
I
European...
didn't. I actually genuinely did not expect that to happen when the war started. When all the Polish people started panicking, just taking their money out of bank accounts. I remember when the war started, when people just panicked, went straight to the bank and started emptying their accounts because they thought that Poland could be next any day. And I went to the bank to get some money to pay the bills, and they said, there's no money in the bank. There's no money in the bank because people just came and all of them emptied their accounts because people are panicking over the war. That was a real thing that happened in 2022 at the beginning in Poland. And I sort of just didn't think that Ukraine would lose in a couple of days, definitely.
Interest prevented it from happening.
Well,
but even with all of that, I think that...
I guess retrospectively, I have proven to be correct. I've proven to be the correct party in this.
It's phenomenal and inspiring, even, the fact that the Ukrainian people have fought back so bravely against the Russians. I think they have. It's tremendous. And I think it surprised me. It surprised a lot of people. How many of you guys did? How many of you guys expected Russia to just roll them over? I certainly did. Especially when I saw like those jets rolling over, just bombing everything. Exactly. Yeah, I thought they were going to get steamrolled. And so, like, again, I think the decision should be in the hands of the Ukrainian people. That's my viewpoint. That's what I think. Personally, I think they should not give up any land. I think that giving up land is losing. And it's also creating a reward structure for Putin to do it again. But
it is. Oh yeah, bravo. You've cracked the case. You've cracked it. Asmongold. Yeah, it does literally create a incentive structure, not just for Putin but for any other dictator to want to attack a smaller non-nuclear country. Bravo. Bravo. The Da Vinci Code has been cracked by you.
But I think that decision is not my decision to make.
It was agreed to by all that the best way to end this conflict is through a full peace deal. There's no doubt about that. I mean, who would be against the fact if tomorrow we came to you and said we have a full peace deal and it's done? I think that's the best way to end the war. Now, whether there needs to be a ceasefire on the way there, well, we've advocated for that. Unfortunately, the Russians, as of now, have not agreed to that.
What a surprise.
But the ideal here, what we're aiming for here is not a ceasefire. What we ultimately are aiming for is an end to this war.
Well, I want to drill down on that exactly and what happened because as you just heard before the meeting with President Putin, President Trump warned there would be...
I think it will also make Trump look really good if this war gets ended under his watch. I mean, if Trump is able to end this war without Ukraine giving up territory, I think that the amount of capital that people will have to criticize Trump with will go down tremendously. I do. I think that it will actually be like a massive thing for him. Yeah, it won't happen. I don't think it's going to happen either, but I'm saying like theoretically.
Quote, very severe consequences for Russia if it didn't stop the war. Here's a little bit more of what he said on the...
Well, we're not going to see any severe consequences. Don't even hope for any severe consequences. Don't even imagine that any of that will happen.
Plane ride over. Take a look.
I want to see a ceasefire rapidly. I don't know if it's going to be today, but I'm not going to be happy if it's not today.
Well, Russia already said they don't want any ceasefire, period. So, well, what is it then? What do you mean? Who are you asking? What are you asking? What are you asking of whom and why? What are you saying, Convenient Estelle? Well, Asmongold, as he said, there is plenty of space on Reddit to talk about. True. God. My goodness. Oh my God.
So what exactly changed? Is it that Putin would not agree to a ceasefire?
Yes. Yes, since Russia already gave its position on the ceasefire. Yes. In fact, Russia has already several times over rejected a ceasefire. What a shock. The most funny thing that I was less panicking than Polish and I was in Kharkiv at the start of the invasion. Nice. I visited Kharkiv recently. I went to Kharkiv. I met Ukrainian Anna. I did some interviews in Kharkiv. It was a nice time. It is a very nice city. Back to work then. Oh, okay. Thank you, Chet, for your thank you for your input.
Well, first of all, the Russians are already facing very severe consequences. So there's not a single sanction.
Are you kidding? Yeah. Oh my God. What the fuck? How could you even say that? How could you say that with a straight face that Russia is already facing severe consequences?
Been lifted. And not one. I mean, they're facing all the same sanctions that have been...
Wow. Wow. Well, Russia's already facing severe consequences. I mean, we haven't lifted any of the sanctions. That's the severe consequences. The fact that the US has not lifted any, the fact that the US has not rewarded Russia, that's the severe consequence.
In place today, all the American support continues for Ukraine. And ultimately...
No, it doesn't. The US has didn't you say, Rubio, that actually the American support, military support would end? Wasn't it Marco Rubio that said that? No, I'm sorry, that was JD Vance. JD Vance said that funding of the Ukrainian war business or whatever has ended, and now Europe will be doing the support. Yeah, severe consequences. The United States is withdrawing any military support. Brilliant consequences for Russia.
Look, if we're not going to be able to reach an agreement here...
After it starts in 2 or 3 years, Trump will be seen as a new Chamberlain. I don't think he will, because Trump won't be in office and people will... I don't think that's what's going to happen. Like, because again, like that, the reason why that happened is because I think, Neville Chamberlain was still in power when Hitler continued to invade. But he will, maybe, right? I mean, I don't know if he runs again. I don't think Trump's going to run again. I don't think so. I think that there's like a 20% chance Trump runs again.
Me.
But it's not a probability. It's not a likely probability.
Point, then there are going to be consequences. Not only the consequences of the war continuing, but the consequences of all...
Oh no, the consequences of the war continuing. This is totally not empty bullshit talk at all. Marco Rubio is doing exceptionally well here. Congratulations.
Continuing, and potentially new sanctions on top of it as well. But what we're trying to do right now is end the war. And in order to end the war, you've got to give every opportunity that exists.
Yeah, in order to win the war, we have to give Russia all that it wants without pressuring it whatsoever, and put all the pressure on Ukraine. That is how we end the war. Brilliant.
Opportunity that exists to bring it about. And here's the thing to remind everybody. And when the president says this is not our war, but let's be frank, this is not our war. The United States is not in a war. Ukraine is in a war, and we've been supporting Ukraine.
Yep.
There we go. There we have it. It's all about abandoning your allies, even though you promised to have the allies back all the way, during the Budapest Memorandum. But who cares? Who cares about obligations? Obligations are meaningless.
To be in the role of the only country in the world, with the only leader in the world, that can actually bring Putin to a table to even discuss these things. Now, the president has traveled, all the way to Alaska, all the way back, has dedicated...
Yeah, Trump has traveled to Russia. Don't forget. He said it himself. And then he said that he's going to go back to the United States. Let's not forget.
Months and months of work, our entire team on this matter, because we want to see it
all the way to Alaska.
But if tomorrow the war continues, life in America will not be fundamentally altered. That's true. So I think that what we have to understand is that this has been a priority for this president because he wants to promote peace. He wants to promote the end of a war. And I think we should be happy that we have a president that's trying to promote peace and bring a war to an end.
Mr. Secretary, let's look at the state of the war. It's really captured in this chart. I want to put it up on the screen for our viewers. It shows that Russian attacks on Ukraine have nearly doubled since President Trump came into office. And in fact, in July, Russia launched more than 6,000 missiles and drones. That's the highest amount of attacks since the war began. What do you say to Ukrainians who worry that without a ceasefire in place, you are giving Putin more leverage at the negotiating
table? What the fuck do you mean? You can't make him do a ceasefire.
Yeah, you can. You can say, hey, if you don't have a ceasefire, there will be actual consequences. And do you know what happens when Russia does not agree to a ceasefire? You actually enact those consequences. You give Ukraine a lot more weapons, you give Ukraine a lot more support, and you do those sanctions. Yeah, you can. You actually, he literally is saying right now that the US has no tools of pressure against Russia. What an idiot. Putin should have been arrested as soon as he set foot on American soil. That will never happen.
You can't just say, hey, cut it out.
Yeah, you actually have to, have some action, follow that. You actually have to put some pressure on.
We've had enough of these missiles.
God, this is such a brain dead idiot.
And a green
You know what you could do? You could shoot down the missiles. You could actually shoot down the missiles going to Ukrainian airspace. You could give them much more anti-air. You could give them much more offensive capability. It is what you could do.
To drop more bombs.
But no, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. We are helpless. We're only the most powerful country in the world, supposedly.
Well, the problem with that is that we've been asking for ceasefire for a long period of time. We think usually it's very hard to
do. We've been just asking without any consequence, without any pressure, without doing anything. Of course, you're not going to get your ceasefire that way.
You're in the middle of hostilities. Right. But that said, the only way to have a ceasefire is for both sides to agree to stop firing at one another. And
you have to pressure the other side to agree to it.
Russians just haven't agreed to that. Beyond that,
they want to just keep bombing them. That's the goal. Like, it's obvious that's what Russia's trying to do. Like, how does anybody not see this?
Everybody sees this, you idiot. Everybody sees this. And it just weakens the US position. If you just beg for a ceasefire, knowing that it will happen. And don't enact any consequences when that happens. God help me. God help me. My God.
I would say that one of the complications about ceasefires is they have to be maintained, which is very difficult. I mean, every single day we keep an eye on what's happening between Pakistan and India, what's happening between Cambodia and Thailand. Ceasefires can fall apart very quickly, especially after a 3.5-year war like what we're facing now. But I don't think anyone disagrees that the ideal here, what we're aiming for, is not some permanent ceasefire.
Permanent ceasefire, what a joke. I'm gonna go, fake news. Yeah, of course, fake news. Of course, media is the enemy. Don't ever forget the mantra of the day. The media is your enemy. Also press like on the stream because I can see that there are more people watching than there are likes. 13 people watching, only 6 likes. 14 people watching and only 6 likes. I would like to see some likes. I would like you to like me and my stream. Bye-bye, Laia2 on Twitch, my only Twitch viewer.
What we're aiming for here is a peace deal, so there's not a war now, and there's not a war in the future.
But why not impose more sanctions?
Yeah, imagine actually the US achieving anything in that field, yeah. Imagine all the people living life in peace, woohoo.
On them and force them to agree to a ceasefire instead of...
You're so stupid, because...
Yeah, you should look in the mirror and you should repeat that many, many times.
Number one, that won't work. It will not guaranteed work. Number two, it makes us adversarial to countries that could be on our side, which...
Like who?
Would mean that we can't leverage our connection.
Like what countries? What countries are we getting adversarial to that could be on our side? Name them, you fucking idiot. Name those countries.
With them anymore. It's so stupid. Why is this so... What is this? It will not work. It might work. It might not. Why would they want to do that?
Russia? Oh yeah, Russia is such a good country to be friends with, as we've learned.
Like, if they don't have to do that, why would they do it? You're already adversarial? We're not adversarial with India. No, we're not.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, you idiot. You've just imposed new sanctions on India, which caused India to respond by ignoring Trump. Very adversarial, actually, relationship. Have you been following what's been happening between India and the United States at all? India ignores additional 25% sanctions. Oh, is not ignoring. Oh, sorry, the AI has specified. India is not ignoring the additional 25% tariffs imposed by the US, but rather has stated that the tariffs are unfair. Oh, okay. And that it will take necessary actions to protect itself against its interest. Well, I'm sorry. What a joke. Maybe I won't have to do it. No, that's not adversarial at all. Good morning. Hello, Jugden Dude. That's not adversarial at all. Let me see. The meat. Secondary tariff of 25% imposed on India is unlikely to come into effect after August 27th. US Advisor Navarro, India's Russian crude oil purchases. What a joke. Yes, there is adversarial relationship with India.
What?
Accepting that Putin won't agree to one.
Ridiculous thing to say.
Well, first, I think that's something that a lot of people go around saying that I don't necessarily think is true. I don't think new sanctions on Russia are going to force them to accept the ceasefire. They're already under very severe sanctions.
Okay, what will? What will force Russia? If the US feels that it has no means of putting pressure on Russia, then it's useless in negotiations.
I think that it should be. You could argue that that could be a consequence of refusing to agree to a ceasefire or the end.
Oh, like Russia has done several times now. Russia has refused a ceasefire several times now, and also has said that it wants to move towards peace deal directly without a ceasefire.
Of hostilities, but there is no evidence that more sanctions, because sanctions take months and sometimes years to bite, and we may very well wind up in that place. I hope not, because that means that peace talks failed. But we have to give every opportunity for peace a chance in this particular case.
What a joke.
Use that. They don't want to play that card.
Yeah, they don't want to play that card. They just want to say that they will do it and not do it over and over and over and over again. When Russia has rejected any type of ceasefire time and time again, even though Ukraine, on the other hand, has accepted a non-conditional ceasefire time and time again.
Yeah, I don't even get this. You said anything about India?
Yeah, I know you don't get this. I know you don't get anything.
India is one of the countries that is purchasing energy from Russia, is my understanding. China is another one. I'm sure there are others, but those are the top two off the top of my head. You could say Iran. I'm sure Iran gets energy from Russia, but I think we're already sanctioning Iran.
Why would Iran be getting energy from Russia when Iran has one of the biggest oil reserves in the world? Wow. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I've got it wrong. Is Iran one of the biggest oil reserves in the world? Oh, following Saudi Arabia, Iran comes second with 208.6 billion barrels. Yeah, Iran really needs to buy energy from Russia. Really. For sure. Yeah, Iran really needs that oil from Russia. Yeah.
On 50 different ways.
And that's what we're trying to...
is, yeah, but the EU can't, as far
Iran.
as I know, the EU can't just get off of Russian energy.
What a...
Yeah, but the EU can't, as far as I know, the EU can't just get off of Russian energy.
And yet it's doing it. So...
Like, that's my understanding.
Your understanding is very wrong.
I'm not an expert in every single thing, okay?
Yeah, you're not an expert on anything, politics. That's why you should not be talking about politics, because you don't know anything. Exactly. Yes, please stop talking about these things.
But it's not like they can just, okay, we're going to turn off the energy switch from Russia and we're going to turn it on from somewhere else.
Wow.
Logistically, they can't? Yeah. Not instantly, no? Yeah, exactly, right? And so that's the reason why. And so that, again, makes us adversarial and oppositional with an ally, which can overcomplicate the entire thing.
Do here, and so those options remain to the president. The minute he takes those steps...
Hey, Cockroach, why'd you slander Hassan Piker and misrepresent his comments about Palestinians' right to defend themselves? I don't know why, listen, I don't know why Hassan keeps trying to push violence. It's very weird. I don't know why he makes excuses for terrorism. It's very weird. You're unhappy about what I'm saying. That's okay. But the fact is that when Hassan is naming a specific person, when he's naming a specific person, and he's saying this person is justified militarily or as an armed resistance against, this should not be acceptable speech. It's not. And it isn't, by the way. It's not. And also, it's not legal either.
All talk stop. The minute we take those steps, there is no one left in the world to go talk to the Russians and try to get them to the table to reach a peace agreement. So that moment may come. I hope not, because I hope we get a peace deal.
But so, Mr. Secretary, a lot of people have heard President Trump threaten sanctions for months, and they are wondering, are they empty threats? Why hasn't he punished Putin to date for this war since taking office?
Well, again, every single sanction that was in place on the day he took over remained. And the impact of all those sanctions remain. You know, when the Russians landed in Alaska,
they still have the sanctions. Like, Russians can't do all kinds of stuff right now.
Oh, no.
And this has been the case ever since the Ukraine war started, or a little bit after that, right? It was a little bit afterwards, but that was about it. But yeah, sure.
They were there to refuel. They had to.
What about the Shadow Fleet? Are you familiar with that subject, Asmongold? Russia's Shadow Fleet?
Offer to pay in cash to refuel their airplanes because they can't use our banking system. They face consequences every single day. But the bottom line is that has not altered the direction of this war. That doesn't mean those sanctions are inappropriate. It means it hasn't altered.
Yeah, because the support for Ukraine, the direct military support, has been lackluster from the beginning of the war, to say the least.
The outcome of it. And here's what we do.
And I think that's a good argument that he's making. If sanctions...
No, it's not. Sanctions alone will not do anything. It has to be followed up by strong military support.
Work, then why haven't they worked? Now, maybe you need to do more extreme sanctions. Sure. But, like, that's about it. I mean, it's true that, like, yeah, he's tried to do the sanctions and it didn't do anything. Or
That's bullshit to say that they didn't do anything, of course.
Biden did the sanctions at that time.
I think is important, and that is that we
To say that the sanctions did not do anything is just, wow.
To end this war, you have to be able to engage with the Russians. As much as people may not like it, as distasteful as people may find it, the only way to end this war is to get the Russians to agree, as well as the Ukrainians, but the Russians to agree.
As well as the Ukrainians, but that's not as important, right?
This is the problem, is that I think that a lot of people are very angry at the fact that Russia is getting more out of this than they should. But the
yeah, we are kind of angry at the fact that the most powerful country in the world acts so weak towards Russia. Yeah. That the United States of America is acting as if it had no way to pressure Russia. Biden sanctions on the go.
Again, ultimately, might makes right.
Yeah. And by that logic, Russia is mightier than the United States. Plain and simple. If the United States cannot pressure Russia into giving back these territories, then that just means might makes right. Russia is mightier than the United States. Simple as. I guess the United States has given up its title of the most powerful country in the world.
If Russia is strong enough to force their will, then that's it.
Easy. Because I guess the United States is not strong enough to force its will. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It cannot force Russia to stop bombing cities. It cannot force Russia into a ceasefire. It can't do anything. The United States is just weak. There you go. Might makes right. The United States is a much weaker country than we've all assumed.
No, there's nothing like you can't, like, you can say they're wrong or you can say that they're bad or whatever you want. But
yeah, I guess that is the only thing that the United States has at its disposal, saying that it's bad and saying that it's wrong and nothing else.
Do anything about it. You just have to deal with it.
Yeah, America cannot do anything about it. It just has to deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, right of conquest. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, look at what America did. I mean, all the Native Americans that were here.
Fuck me, we're really going there.
I'm sure a lot of them didn't like the fact that we totally fucking colonized their entire country, but too bad. That's what happens.
Yeah, I guess we're living in the exact same times now as then, right? We're living in the exact same world as then, as when America was being colonized.
Morality goes out the window and faced with a sword? Exactly, yeah. America taking Mexican territory? Yeah, clearly.
Peace deal. And the minute you issue new sanctions, your ability to get them to the...
Yeah, Russia isn't taking land, they're conquering it. This is a totally different paradigm. Like when
No, it's not.
They're bombing and they're attacking Ukraine, they're not trying to do this diplomatically. They're conquering the land the same way that Americans did, Genghis Khan did, and everybody who has a country did at some point in their history. That doesn't make it good, but it is what it is. And I think that a lot of people really don't like that. They don't like the... I don't think that they like the... They don't like the blatant unfairness of that.
Yeah, I guess countries should just rush to get nukes now. That is the takeaway.
I don't blame them. It's awful, but it's still true.
Yeah, it's true. The Russia might makes right. Russia conquers, and the United States is too weak to do anything about it. Thank you for the analysis, Asmongold.
Well, our ability to get them to the table will be severely diminished. That moment may arrive, but when it comes, what you're basically signaling is there is no opportunity for peace at this point. So just let's put on more sanctions and allow more people to get bombed and more people to be killed, and that's what we're trying to stop.
Yeah, obviously that's important, right? So China can invade Taiwan after this and nobody will do anything because if you're bigger and stronger, you can do whatever you want. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, realistically, you're right. What could the world do if China invaded Taiwan? Really? We're going to bomb China? Really? Actually think about it.
There you go. That is the world that we are heading towards because of idiots like Asmongold.
Think about this legitimately. Like, I understand that it sounds good. It feels good. But
because the United States was too weak to do anything.
Start a nuclear war because of Taiwan?
There you go.
I don't. I don't think China does either. I think 99% of people don't want to do that. In my opinion, Putin stalling makes us look weak. Trump should bow out. The EU needs to step.
There you go. This is what happens. Everybody should just rush to get nukes. Because if you don't have nukes, you're cooked. You're just up for grabs. If you don't have a nuclear arsenal, you better get one, because otherwise your land is up for grabs and nothing is going to be done about it. Might makes right. Nuclear is king. There you go. What a brilliant political analysis by Asmongold here.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, looking weak is less important than making action. Too, the entire semiconductor industry is based out of Taiwan. Yeah, I know. They have the largest semiconductor company in the world. That's true. But what I'm saying is that, like, yeah, and Ukraine has a lot of natural resources. But what I'm saying is that if China did that, what actually would you want to have happen? Would you want us to invade China? Would you want us to sanction China? What if we sanctioned China and they still did it? You're thinking in terms. This is it's Reddit. It's a Reddit mindset. Stop thinking like a Redditor.
What the fuck?
Mr. Secretary, what will Russia have to give up? What concessions will Russia, the aggressor, have to make as a part of this peace agreement?
They're going to have to stop bombing. Obviously, have to stop attacking. That's the concession that Russia's going to have. Russia
No, it's not.
Is not going to give up hardly anything else up besides that. Just getting them to stop attacking is all they're probably going to get.
Well, that's what these negotiations are about. And as you can imagine, everybody goes into a negotiation wanting 100% of what they want. That includes...
Yeah, and I guess the only party that's going to get 100% of what they want is Russia.
Ukraine, but obviously...
That is what has been happening till now.
And the only way to reach a deal on anything, whether it's in business or in politics or in geopolitics, the only way to reach a deal is for each side to get something and each side to give something. And that's been very difficult. If it was easy, this wouldn't have been going on for 3.5 years. Understand, the longer these wars go on, the harder they are to end, unfortunately, because one side is always looking for leverage on the other. In this particular case, the Russian side as well.
I think that's probably the reason why, it's one of the reasons why the Israel-Palestine conflict is, like, almost impossible to end.
My fucking God, please stop.
It's because it's like, it's just been going on so long, you can never look at, like, one point and say, like, this is when it started. And so
yeah, you actually literally can look at a point in history and say, this is where it started. Actually.
About that
what do you mean you cannot look at a point and see where it...
And so I think that's the core of what we're trying to work through here. That's why...
You literally can look at a point in time and say, this is where it started.
Zelensky's coming tomorrow. That's why European leaders are coming tomorrow. That's why the president called them from the airplane, spent 2 hours in the middle of the night talking to them. And that's why we've been engaged with them every step of the way, is we are trying to find what can we get to that both sides can agree on. And it's been difficult. This is a hard issue set, but we're dedicating a lot of time to it. And the president deserves credit for dedicating time to it.
Oh, yeah, so much credit.
And I understand that these negotiations are ongoing, but can you name one thing that President Trump is asking Russia to give up in order to get peace?
No.
Well, I'm not going to disclose those things because...
No, obviously not. Obviously fucking not.
But we're totally going to talk about all the things that Ukraine will have to give up in order to achieve peace.
Yeah.
Then you can imagine on negotiations.
What about one thing?
Hello, Zoshulix.
Look, I know everybody wants to know what's happening, and to a certain degree that's important.
Yeah, sure.
But what's more important is that these negotiations work. And for us to run to the...
Yeah, just like all the negotiations that have worked so far, so great, so well.
Like, you see these leaks sometimes that are completely inaccurate, and in many cases, sometimes you see leaks out there that undermine the negotiations. Okay, these negotiations, in order for...
he's right about that. Remember the leaks with the Iran thing? He's totally right.
Be successful, allow...
She's interviewing like it's a new video game coming out. They're like, yeah, can you at least tell us one new character?
Oh, there you go. There you go. Again, because that is what I said. He's just doing the gaming journalism, but he's just putting it on the politics journalism.
They're going to add into the game. They're like, okay, all right, it's going to be Sonic the Hedgehog. We're going to have Sonic the Hedgehog come in. It's like, no, they're not just going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek.
Yeah, and yet they're super going to give you a sneak peek of what Ukraine should give up.
Like, is the new Marvel movie going to have a post-credit scene or not? Like, all right, yeah, it's going to have one. Oh!
Fuck me.
Require for us to allow both sides to agree to potential concessions or discuss potential concessions without it finding its way in the public sphere and creating all kinds of internal problems for one country or the other country. So here's the bottom line. We all know what the elements of such a deal. There has to be talk about what the territories are going to look like.
I think Trump makes mistakes by talking about red lines that he has with
mistakes were made
going into conversations like this. Like him saying that he'd walk out with a peace if there was no ceasefire. I think it was a huge mistake for him to have said that. I think Trump makes a lot of mistakes by kind of just being too transparent. And in doing so, he writes himself...
Yeah, he's just very transparent about not giving a fuck. I guess that can hamper things a little bit.
To a corner with the media, because the media can say, oh, well, you literally...
If you say before the conversation even happens that you are just ready to walk out and say good luck, then yeah, I guess I can see how it could hamper things a little bit, yeah.
explicitly said this is what was going to happen, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I think that's it. What do you mean? Yeah, I think that's it. He writes himself into a corner with this constantly. It becomes a soft ultimatum. Yeah, I know. He didn't say that. Okay, then you can use 50 other examples of the same thing happening. Like, we all know that Trump does this. He's too vocal. Yeah. And like once he...
I don't think his only problem is being too vocal. The problem is that he makes his word meaningless.
The problem is that I think that Trump wants to give people something that they can like have. But I think that in doing so, sometimes he undermines his credibility in the long term. And I think it's a communication problem.
Trump has zero credibility at this point.
Brag. Yeah, and I think it's definitely probably an ego thing too.
And what the border lines are going to look like at the end of this conflict. There has to be talk about Ukraine's legitimate desire for security in the long term to make sure they don't get invaded again. There has to be talk about how Ukraine is rebuilt and how do you rebuild a country that's been attacked as often as it has over the last 3.5 years.
Maybe he's implying that Russia will have to give money to rebuild Ukraine. I think, again, the probability of that happening is very, very...
That will not happen.
Very low. But, you know, who knows what's going to happen. But when has writing himself into a corner hurt him significantly? It's not about whether it hurts him significantly or not. Well, actually, I'll give you a great example, the Epstein files. Trump has written himself into... If Trump was not as hardline with the Epstein files, I don't think that people... I think that the Epstein files is actually a great example of Trump writing himself into a corner.
Years. These are all key elements.
I mean, if he's in them, then he's pretty screwed, I would say, but whatever.
I understand that. And each side is... If there's going to be a deal, each side is going to have to give up on something. That's just a fact.
Mr. Secretary, I want to show folks what Ukraine looks like right now. This is a map of Ukraine. That red section there, that's the area currently under control by Russia. It's about 20% of the entire country. There are reports that Putin is asking to keep all of this territory in a potential deal. Is that what...
Yeah, I could pretty much expect that.
You're such a deep thinker, Asmongold. Oh, I can expect that. Well, congratulations. You can expect the obvious.
What's being discussed? Can you confirm that?
Well, I can confirm that.
Can you confirm that? Can you tell us something? No? Okay, well, I'm going to make something up. Can you tell us if that's true or not?
What do you mean I'm going to make something up? What is the thing that is being made up here?
Speeches.
What exactly is the part that is being made up?
Said that repeatedly.
So he's asking for that now in these private conversations?
Well, look, ultimately, he is...
Obviously, he is. Obviously, he's doing it for land. Duh. Like, we all know this. Of course. It's a trick question. Yeah. What's so special about Crimea? Trade access to ocean? Yeah, I think it's because of the ocean access. That's my understanding. I mean, I'm not an expert, but like that's...
Well, then why are you talking about this?
I think that's like one of the highest value things. And also it's isn't that like a tourism spot too? It's like a very, very high value space.
Yes. Russia's totally fighting this whole conflict for tourist space. Brilliant analysis. That's what it's all about. Tourist space.
Yeah, it's their only warm water seaport.
No, it's not. What is this? Oh, well, what do you know?
I believe.
Oh, you believe?
If the Ukrainians are not willing to give that up, and no one's pushing Ukraine to give that up, and so I don't think that's what. If there's going to be a peace deal, it's not going to look like that. But he certainly is making. He's certainly making demands. He's certainly asking for things that the Ukrainians and others are not willing to be supportive of, and that we're not going to push them to give. And the Ukrainians are asking for things that the Russians are not going to give up on.
True.
I know that sounds, I know everybody wants to have more detail, but we're trying to have a serious negotiation here and see if we can find...
Yeah, because there have been so much serious negotiations so far. So serious, so much of it. It's brilliant. It's so good.
Ground between two warring parties and a very difficult war where the Russians feel, as they always do, like they have momentum on their side, and the Ukrainians have been incredibly brave in fighting back, and in the defensive posture they've taken, the Ukrainians have inflicted a tremendous amount of damage on the Russians. I think last month alone, 20,000 Russian soldiers were killed in 1 month in this war.
Wow.
So the Ukrainians have inflicted a tremendous amount of damage on the Russians as a result of this.
Holy shit.
Whenever they sent into North Koreans, that didn't go too well, huh?
It went pretty well. They're learning, they're gaining technology. Actually, North Korea is one of the biggest winners in this war. What do you mean it didn't go well for them?
Pretty bad time. I feel bad for those guys. They just got sent in to be like fucking, it's like cannon fodder.
Yeah,
basically.
they're doing better and better as time goes on. But you would know that if you actually followed, what's going on.
Yeah, 1,000 a day. Yeah, I mean, almost, right? It's like 700 a day, something like that. Yeah, Ukraine's got demolished. Yeah, exactly. Source, I mean, you just look it up on the Google. Just Google it.
They're very dug in. This is a difficult one, but we're going to continue to work on it because the president's made it a priority to try to end the war that should have never happened.
Mr. Secretary, you were one of the few people in that room with President Putin and President Trump. You got to look him in the eyes. Do you believe that President Putin believes in Ukraine's right to exist based on what you heard and saw?
Ooh, that's actually kind of a good question.
Nope, he doesn't. That's the answer. He doesn't. Nope.
Well, look, I wasn't
not gonna
playing any of
comment
those
on
games
it.
about looking
Yeah.
people in the eye and trying to read their minds. I'm reading actions. And that's what we're looking at is actions. What will you agree to? What will you commit to? And what will you follow up on?
And actions speak for themselves. Russia does not accept Ukraine as a country from their actions.
And in order for this war to end, Russia will have to take actions. Ukraine will have to take action. Ukraine's partners and allies will have to take action.
So he will not answer the question.
To enforce that peace in the long term.
It's not a good answer, actually. It's a shit answer. It's a non-answer.
That's what we're interested in. Not all, I get all the drama around this stuff.
This answer is a non-answer, actually.
But at the end of the day, we are talking about a war in which people are being killed and maimed every single day.
Oh no, people are dying, even though Trump several times has praised Putin for bombing cities.
A country has been dismembered by 20%, as you just pointed out, and it's really important to bring this war to an end. This war doesn't get better. It gets worse as time goes on. It gets worse. It actually threatens to spill over into other areas. So it needs to be stopped. That's why the president's made it a priority, and that's what we're focused on. Concrete actions.
Do you want an honest opinion from a Balkan? No. The last time I got an honest opinion from a Balkan, I had to ban them. No, I don't want your, I know what you're on, like, no, please, no.
Both sides, especially the Russian side, to bring this conflict to an end. And we're going to do everything we can to make it happen. Is it possible? I don't know. But we're going to try. We've tried. We've spent a lot of time on this issue. We have a lot of other issues to focus on. But the president's made this a priority, and he deserves credit for that.
Mr. Secretary, a couple more questions.
Yeah,
We're
sure.
almost out of time. NBC News is reporting this morning that NATO-like security guarantees for Ukraine were discussed as a part of this agreement. Can you tell us
She's
what?
she's actually trying to bait him so hard. She's like, other people said this happened. Can you confirm that this happened? Can you say if, so I made up a scenario. Did that one happen?
What do you mean I made up a scenario? There's been reports of it. It has been reported on. It's not a made up scenario. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, well, what about this other thing? Yeah, I just made that up. Yeah, exactly, right? This is a very common journalist
What do you
technique
mean I just made it up?
that a lot of journalists do, even independent journalists do this, is that they create a presupposition that somebody else was already talking to them in order to make the person who they're talking to feel more comfortable divulging information.
Yeah, of course.
This is again, like super simple technique. And I mean, he knows this is not probably going to work. Let's see if it's going to work.
Role would the United States
Is it
play
gonna
in
work
such a
or not?
security agreement?
Well, there'll have to be some security guarantees for Ukraine, right? I mean, it's one of their fundamental demands is that if this war were to end, they have to make sure this never happens again.
Sure.
They don't want to get reinvaded. They don't want
Surely it will, like, surely, man, oh man.
to wait 3 or 4 years from now and find
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Brilliant commentary, as always, from us. Thank you, Asmongold. But have you considered that it's spiritually true? I keep considering it every single day.
So, a war on their hands. So there's going to have to be some security guarantees as part of it.
Brilliant.
How that's structured, how that's built, what our role will be, that'll be the kinds of things we'll have to work through. But again, that is going to be a key element of this deal. And it is something that in order for there to be a peace, the Russian side is going to have to accept that Ukraine is a sovereign country that has a right to defend itself and has a right to enter into alliances with other countries to defend itself. How
Like NATO. An alliance is like NATO.
that's constructed, what we call it, how it's built, what guarantees are built in there that are enforceable, that's what we'll be talking about over the next
So
few days.
is Ukraine a sovereign country that has the right to enter any alliances that it wants, or does it not have the right to enter any alliances that it wants?
With our partners who are coming in from overseas tomorrow for a series of meetings and in the days to come. We had a long phone call about this yesterday with several of the national security advisors from various countries in Europe.
Mr. Secretary, I want to play something you said about President Putin. This was
Oh, jeez, here we go.
Here we go. Journalists actually putting politicians to task, actually putting any sort of pressure and not just sucking their dick. Well, imagine that. Oh no, here we go.
Oh, fuck.
The media's evil and the media's your enemy. Don't forget.
right after the invasion in
But
March
you
of 2022. Take a
What
look.
you said.
This guy lies, habitually lies. He's never kept a deal he's
See, yeah.
ever signed, and he lies all the time. And I don't know why, but he plays us like a violin in the West, because the West wants to believe that you can cut a deal with everybody. You can't cut a deal
Here you go. I mean, that is reality.
with guys like this. He's a professional, experienced liar.
I mean, he is from KGB. His background is KGB.
Given that, what makes you think that if you are able to reach a deal with President Putin, that he would
Oh, imagine asking difficult questions to politicians. How dare you? Media's your enemy.
stick to it? Based on, as you just said, he's a liar.
Whoa, what a piece of shit. How dare he? How dare she ask such a question? Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, he has an easy response to this. It's that Trump
Okay.
stated personally that Putin has never violated a deal that he made with Trump.
Brilliant response. Except he has. Except that Putin has agreed to a partial ceasefire with Trump and broke it. So actually, Putin has violated a deal that he has made with Trump. So that's not even correct.
Putin has never broken Trump's trust?
Yes, he has. Several times. In fact, Trump has personally whined about it. That he has talked to Putin about stopping the attack on civilians, that they've had several good conversations on the phone, and that the next day Putin would just bomb cities.
And so that's really what he would say. I mean, that's what I would expect him to say.
And yeah, he has actually agreed to the ceasefire, partial ceasefire, and he broke it. So yeah, this is not even correct.
It's a fair question, though. It is, but that's what I would... That's what I would respond with if I was him.
Well, that's the point. That's why the deal has to have enforceable mechanisms in it. That's why the deal has to have things like security guarantees. That's the point I was making a few minutes ago when you were asking me about looking some.
I'm going to be honest. That's a better answer. Yeah, it's a better answer.
Yeah, your answer was stupid. Your answer was really, really stupid. I'm going to be honest.
One in the eye. What's important here is actions, not words, not paper, document. Those are all important. Those are elements of a deal, but they have to be enforceable. They have to be verifiable. They have to be.
Yeah, and since the
enduring. There's no point here in signing a deal that's going to be violated in 3 or 4 months. There's no point in doing that. It actually would make things worse.
You're so smart.
So that's why this is such a difficult thing. Not only do you need a deal, you need a deal that's verifiable, that's enforceable, and that's enduring. If you don't achieve that, then I think you could have a ceasefire.
And also, by the way, that's a legitimate answer too. Like he didn't bullshit. He didn't give a bullshit answer. Like that's actually an answer.
Yeah, but those are just words. What are America's actions towards securing security guarantees for Ukraine?
For a few months.
Words don't matter. Let me give you a bunch of words. Let me just bullshit you a little bit.
A few weeks, and then the war will start again, and more people will die.
He's a pro.
That's not the outcome we're interested in.
Yeah,
that's not
the real
outcome
pro.
anyone wants. So that's why this is so difficult.
All right. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, thank you so much for joining us after an historic week. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We thank you.
Well, there it is. And so
there it is. Media is your enemy, and it's all bad. But Marco Rubio is your hero, at least.
No, I think how can they enforce that though? Well, they enforce it with the military. I mean, that's very clearly what it is.
Yeah, sure. Sure, it is what it is, and what it is bullshit. Okay, let's see what Vladimir gave me earlier.